All right, so came out to the range this morning. I have the Smith & Wesson Sport. We shot this a good bit. I have about 400 rounds through it. I came out, mainly wanted to test a new microphone, and I figured I would do some accuracy testing, and I like to change up the format a little bit. Sometimes I like to do tabletops, sometimes I like to do stuff out at the range. So I figured we could just do a initial range review here at the range on the Smith & Wesson Sport 3. So first thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to kind of go into some specs on this. So on my original video, I had not mentioned this, but I had said about it in the comments. So I originally had thought that these lowers were made of 6061 T6. I actually heard that from a YouTube video, and then I went and researched it, and it's kind of weird because if you go on certain websites that sell their lowers, it says that their lowers are made of 6061. And then if you go on other websites, it says that their lowers are made of 7075. So I went ahead and called Smith & Wesson and asked them, and they confirmed that the lower and upper are both made of 7075 T6 aluminum. So that's good. Not that I think it's a huge deal either way, but I do know back in like the Vietnam days, they did have problems with the 6061. So I asked them about where that came from, and they couldn't really tell me. Anyways, the barrel on these Smith & Wessons, they have the 5R rifling. They are nitrited. I didn't mention the nitrite barrels in the last video. Smith & Wesson calls it their Armonite finish, but it's basically the same as like a melanite nitride finish. And it's a really good finish. And then they have the 5R rifling in the barrels, and then it has a 1 in 8 twist. Now the 5R rifling comes in from back when Smith & Wesson acquired Thompson Center. I'm not 100% sure how much more accurate it is compared to something else. We're going to test that out. So I put 400 rounds through this gun, not a single malfunction. This thing is gassed, I'll say adequately. So most of the shooting footage you're going to see is me shooting PMC bronze, and it's ejecting to the 4 o'clock position. With M855 and the green tip stuff, it's ejecting to the 2:30, 3 o'clock. That's also with full power NATO spec ammunition. So I'll give that a pass. So I did a little bit of upgrades to this. I did a short, you probably saw that. I got Magpul sights. I did put a Radian Raptor charging handle on this, and I just did Magpul stock and grip. The one thing I didn't have on that was this sling here. This is a Spectre Gear sling, 2-point with the QD mounts. And I also put a BCM QD mount here. Unfortunately, that's one of my gripes about this gun, is there's no QD mounts on this, whereas like the PSA came with QD mounts. So I really would like to see Smith & Wesson just put QD mounts in on both sides, on the back and the front. Just help save the end user some money. Also, I did pull the trigger off camera, and this is actually a really good trigger. If you buy this gun, don't switch any of the internals out. The bolt carrier group is good, and so is the trigger. So on the Smith or the PSA, I had put a nickel boron, one of their polished enhanced triggers in it, and that thing is still pulling about 6.5 pounds, whereas this thing is a light. It does have a little bit of creep to it, that's the only thing, but about 5 pounds. When I poured it on my scale, I did it like 5 times. Besides a little bit of creep, which isn't really a huge deal, it's a very good trigger, and I wouldn't spend money upgrading it at all. Other than that, this has been a very reliable gun, and in fact, I'm going to get a light, and this is going to be my primary home defense gun. And you may ask why. Not because I have a problem with my Colts. It's because if I do end up using this in a self-defense situation, I don't want them taking my $3,000 Colts. So we're going to use this. This thing is super reliable. And at least so far, I plan on putting 800 rounds through it, and we'll do a full review. But so far, this thing is super reliable, which I figured. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted one. The other reason was I figured it would do good on the channel, and it has so far. But other than that, it seems like a great buy. Nothing seems to be working loose as far as the screws go. I didn't mention the optic here. This is a Sig Romeo 5, but as far as reliability goes, this matches the old Smith & Wesson Sports. I mean, they've been out since what, 2010, 2011? I'll say 11. I think it's 11 or 12 actually. And reliability is top notch. Smith & Wesson has done a great job on all of their AR-15s. Yeah, somebody had mentioned that they wish that Smith & Wesson would do like a complete mil-spec gun, and I agree with that. Smith & Wesson doesn't do that anymore. They basically only do the Armalite finish. Before the Sports came out, they actually did use to chrome line their barrels, and they did have mil-spec guns besides the bolt carriers. And I have a video on this. The bolt carrier that comes in this is semi-auto, and they've always done the semi-auto cut bolt carrier groups. If you're not sure what that looks like, you can go ahead and check that video out on my channel. In fact, I'll probably, if I remember, put it in the description so you can see, because I had some people that didn't know what a semi-auto bolt carrier group was. So it makes no functional difference. I wouldn't change it out in this gun. There's no reason to. The bolt carrier, the bolt is MP, magnetic particle inspected. The gas keys are staked pretty good, so I wouldn't change nothing out. This was pretty, the buffer spring stuff was pretty scratchy. I put a little bit of grease on the buffer spring, and it still was pretty bad, but after the 400 rounds, you can hear it. It's pretty smooth. So other than that, that's all I got for now. This is a great gun, and definitely worth your money if you're looking to upgrade. Or just get a new rifle. If you have a Sport too and you're happy with it, I don't see the need to upgrade. You have a better system in my opinion because it's got the pin gas block. So I would just stick with that. But if you're looking to get a Sport entry-level gun, or just you have multiple and you want something a little cheaper, I would say look into these Sports. These are pretty nice guns. Like I said, the only ding that I'll give it is it doesn't come with sights, which is totally crap. And then it doesn't come with any QD mounts, which I don't like that either. I did look and I saw that the old Sport 2s were coming with a rear flip-up sight, and they had the front, obviously the front fixed a front sight post. So if they were able to give you the rear sight on that package, why can't they give you the front and the rear sight with this package? I think they can. I just think they're being a little cheap. So if they could upgrade the sights and put the QD swivels in for $700, I think this is a good deal. Obviously, you can build cheaper, but for off the shelf, this is what I would stick to. And I said that in my first video. I don't have much experience with Anderson or anything. I don't think they're like terrible rifles or nothing. But for track record, I mean, dollar for dollar, like when you literally look at the history of these Sports, you really can't find a ton of issues. And you can go back and watch Iraq Veteran 8888, his meltdown video on this, and this does better than a PSA. This does better than a lot of the rifles do with the melanite finish on it, on the barrel. So anyways, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more questions or comments, let me know. Like I said, there's definitely room to improve this as far as the cost and what it comes with. But as far as reliability and durability, I think it's there. So look for more videos on this, and we'll be doing like a battle of the budget rifles here soon, hopefully. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day.